Hi, I want to go over MDU or multi-dwelling unit ONTs. A quick example of a multi-dwelling unit ONT is this ONT that has multiple subscribers on the same ONT. They can all be managed independently. So here I can suspend a customer or resume it independently of any of the others. We're going to go over MDU ONTs versus SFU ONTs, or single family unit ONTs. You'll notice in an MDU ONT, the video and data is exactly the same as in an SFU ONT. There's nothing to change here. You can have the same shapers and the same EVC maps in the video and data portion. The difference will be in an SFU ONT, here I picked an ONT with 4 Ethernet ports. I can see each individual Ethernet port and select them in the REST template. So here I can do Ethernet 1 or Ethernet 2, and I could select each individual port. If I use an MDU ONT, I will change to an MDU profile, and I can no longer select the ports. So if I toggle back to a single family, I can now select each individual port. So let's go over MDU ONTs and the nested profiles it takes to make an MDU ONT. I'll go to the GPON and ActiveE section, and note MDU ONTs can only be made for GPON. It cannot be made for active Ethernet ONTs. Here I made an ONT profile with 4 Ethernet ports and 2 FXS ports. Make sure your MDU ONT profile over here matches your ONT profile with the amount of ports, Ethernet ports specifically. And I'll go ahead and open my MDU profile. Here I have 4 Ethernet ports, so that matches the amount of ports on my ONT profile that I have. So over here, if I go to ONT profile, 4 Ethernet ports, 4 Ethernet ports. If I wanted, I could select 2 and match that on my ONT profile as well. Here I will have some nested profiles. What I mean is if I select my pbit to Q profile, I will have another profile nested inside. So let's examine the weighted fair Q profile. Here is the profile I usually use, which maps my 7 to Q7, my 6 to Q6, my 5 to Q5, my 4 to Q4. And here on my Q3, 2, 1, and 0, this equates to ports 1, 2, 3, and 4, also known as subscriber 1, subscriber 2, subscriber 3, and subscriber 4. They all have the same priority if my network is congested. And then, of course, I have my higher priority traffic up here. So that means all 4 ports or all 4 subscribers have the same priority in a congested network if I use my weighted fair queue that looks like this. I can go ahead and hit save or update if I made a new one. I do need that weighted fair queue profile in every single one of my pbit profiles over here. See at the bottom, I absolutely need a weighted fair queue profile. Since I have 4 different Ethernet ports, I need 4 pbit queue profiles, 1 for each port. I opened up my port 1, but let me open up ports 2, port 3, and port 4. So now I have all of them open. So here in my port 1, I mapped Q0 to pbit 0 and pbit 1. My pbit 2, 3, and 4 are Qs 4. And my pbit 5 is Q5, pbit 6 is Q6, and pbit 7 is Q7. And then I have to select a weighted fair queue profile, which I use the same for every single one. On my port 2, I mapped my queue to pbit 0 and 1, and everything else is the same. Pbits 2 through 7 are the same, and my weighted fair queue is the same. In pbit 3, I mapped Q2 to pbits 0 and 1, and everything else, all the other pbits are the same, and my weighted fair queue is the same. On port 4, I put Q3 to pbits 0 and 1, and everything else is the same, and my weighted fair queue is the same. So What does that mean? It means that my Ethernet 1 is Q0. So in order to shape this customer, I shape Q0. My Ethernet 2 is Q1. So in order to shape this customer, I shape Q1. My Ethernet 3 is Q2. So if I shape this customer, I shape on Q2. My Ethernet 4 is Q3. So to shape this customer, I need to shape on Q3. Then all the other priority traffic is as is. Also, I need to change the upstream channel noise so they're all unique, so I can shape on their upstream direction. So I usually like to do channel 1 is Ethernet 1, channel 2 is Ethernet 2, channel 3 is Ethernet 3, and channel 4 is Ethernet 4. And then I can go ahead and hit apply or update, and that is an MDU profile that I am now ready to use for MDU customers.